The war had ended 3 cycles ago, but the scars it left on Kepler 442b remained fresh. The planet's crimson sky still carried the acrid smell of plasma burns, and the ruins of what were once thriving apex cities stood as monuments to a conflict no one had wanted but everyone had suffered through. Captain Mira sat against the crumbling wall of an abandoned compound, her breathing steady despite the weight pressing against her chest. 2 Vraxian cubs, barely 6 months old by their species' reckoning, had curled up on her lap, their obsidian scales rising and falling with each soft breath. Their mother had died in the crossfire 2 weeks prior, caught between retreating Apex forces and advancing coalition troops. No one had claimed them, no one except Mira. The Vraxians were apex predators by every biological metric. Adults stood 9 feet tall, possessed retractable claws that could slice through reinforced steel, and had been known to hunt in packs that could take down armored vehicles. Their homeworld had no natural enemies. They were the nightmare at the top of the food chain. Yet here were 2 of their young small enough to fit in a human's arms, sleeping peacefully against someone they should have instinctively feared. Tharvek watched from the operations tent 50 meters away, his 4 eyes focused on the strange tableau. As commander of the remaining Apex forces in this sector, he had seen humanity do many incomprehensible things during the war. They charged fortified positions that should have broken their spirit. They held lines that mathematics said they should abandon. They mourned their enemies and celebrated their adversaries' courage. But this was something else entirely. Commander, his lieutenant Crossall, approached with evident concern. The human female has been there for 3 hours. The cubs haven't moved. Should we intervene? Tharvek's mandibles clicked in what humans had learned to recognize as contemplation. No, post snipers on the roof. Best marksman we have. Crossall's confusion was palpable. Sir, to target the human? To protect them, Tharvek corrected, his voice carrying the weight of absolute command. All 3 of them. Within minutes, 4 Apex snipers took position on the compound's highest remaining structure. Their rail rifles, capable of piercing tank armor from 2 kilometers away, were trained not on Captain Mira, but on the perimeter surrounding her. Each sniper had explicit orders. Anything that approached the human and the cubs with hostile intent would be neutralized immediately. The precaution wasn't paranoid. Vraxian cubs, even orphaned ones, attracted attention. Scavengers both sentient and bestial roamed these ruins. Some sought revenge for losses during the war. Others simply saw vulnerable prey. And some, the worst kind, saw profit in exotic specimens. Mira knew none of this. She had found the cubs whimpering in the rubble, their eyes barely open, their mother's body still warm beside them. In that moment, every combat instinct she possessed, every bit of tactical training that said, "Leave them, they're not your mission," had been overridden by something more fundamental. She had picked them up. They had bitten her, weak, desperate bites that barely broke skin through her gloves. She had held them anyway, and when they finally stopped struggling, exhausted and hungry, she had fed them nutrient paste from her rations, modified with amino supplements from the medkit. That had been 2 weeks ago. Now they followed her everywhere, making small chirping sounds that seemed impossible from creatures that would one day roar loud enough to shatter glass. Curious species. Humans, Tharvek murmured, still watching. They see death and create life. They find enemies and make family. Crossall considered this. The cubs will remember her. When they mature, their imprint will be permanent. I know, Tharvek replied. In 5 years, she will have 2 Vraxian warriors who would die for her. In 10 years, if they breed, their entire line will carry her chemical signature as kin. The Coalition's xenobiologists will study this for decades. Let them. Tharvek's mandibles spread in what might have been a smile. I'm more interested in what it says about them now. A proximity alarm chirped softly. One of the snipers reported movement. A pack of feral Kreshnak, 4-legged scavengers with a taste for carrion and opportunity. They were circling downwind, attracted by the scent of the young Vraxians. Permission to engage? The sniper requested. Granted. Silent shots. Don't wake the cubs. 4 suppressed rail rounds eliminated the threat before the Kreshnak pack got within 100 meters. Mira never stirred. The cubs slept on, their small claws kneading her tactical vest in contentment. Hours passed. The twin sons of Kepler 442b began their descent toward the horizon. painting the ruins in shades of orange and gold. Finally, one of the cubs yawned, a display of teeth that would be terrifying in adulthood but was merely endearing now, and blinked up at Mira. She smiled down at it, her scarred face softening in a way that made her look far younger than her 32 years. "Hey there, little one. Sleep well?" The cub chirped and climbed up her chest to rest its head against her shoulder. The second cub stirred, following its sibling's example. Mira stood slowly, careful not to jostle them, and began walking toward the coalition's temporary settlement. She passed the operations tent without seeing Tharvek standing in the entrance, watching her with all four eyes. "Stand down the snipers," he ordered quietly, "but maintain perimeter watch until she's inside the coalition sector." "Sir," Crossall ventured carefully, "why do we protect them?" "The war is over, but we're not allies." "Not truly." Tharvek was silent for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice carried an emotion that the translator struggled to render properly, something between respect and wonder. "Because, Lieutenant, in all my cycles of service across 17 campaigns and 4 planetary conflicts, I have never seen a species that carries such capacity for violence also carry such capacity for tenderness. Humans are predators who adopt predators, warriors who nurture, killers who choose to heal." He watched Mira disappear into the distance, 2 future apex predators sleeping peacefully in her arms. "And that," Tharvek concluded, "is more terrifying and more hopeful than any weapon they've ever pointed at us." The snipers packed their equipment in silence, each carrying with them the memory of the day they were ordered to protect humanity's strangest strength. Not its ability to destroy, but its refusal to let destruction have the final word.